During my senior year of college, my girlfriend turned down a local job offer behind my back. She planned to spend 3 months in Los Angeles with her childhood friend for an internship, even telling her best friends to help her keep it a secret from me. "It's Caleb's graduation wish for me to go with him for his internship," she'd said. "As soon as the 3 months are up, I'll come back and propose to Henry." Her friend hesitated. "Amy, aren't you worried Henry will meet someone else while he's alone in Boston?" Amy just laughed. "You don't understand the power of a first love. Besides, it's only 3 months. Just do me a favor and keep me updated on how he's doing." A week later, her friend was stunned. "Amy, I think Henry's on a trip with another woman." "Amy's cool." Casual voice drifted in from the balcony. "Just get your stories straight. Tell him I'm on a 3-month assignment in LA. Henry won't suspect a thing." I had just stepped out of the bathroom and heard the whole thing. Looking at Amy, who had been so incredibly sweet to me just half an hour ago, I felt a bitter sense of irony. Just then, there was an urgent, frantic knocking at the door. It seemed whoever was there was in a hurry. I moved closer to the entryway and watched as Amy opened the door. A slender figure stood in the doorway. His face was pale, and he was wearing a baggy t-shirt and shorts. The clothes hung loosely on his frame, and combined with his fair complexion, it created a stark visual contrast that drew your eyes down. His voice was choked with emotion. "Amy, I'm so sorry. I just feel so sick. I wouldn't have bothered you otherwise." Amy didn't answer, her hand already reaching up to press against Caleb's forehead. "You're burning up. Caleb, do you have a fever?" Caleb nodded. "Amy, if I had any other friends here, I swear I wouldn't have come to you." Amy didn't seem to think anything was strange about it. "Don't be silly. Why are you being so formal with me? I promised my mom I'd look after you." Caleb was Amy's childhood neighbor. His parents divorced when he was young, and he was raised by his grandmother. In high school, his father sent him some money, and he ended up renting an apartment right below Amy's. Later, they both got into the same university in Boston. Since Caleb was her childhood friend, she always treated him like a little brother, insisting there were no other feelings involved. That's why she'd been able to fall for me at first sight our sophomore year and pursue me so intensely. I used to believe her, too, that she just felt sorry for him not having his parents around and saw him as a brother, who knew he was more of a lover than a little brother. I couldn't help but let out a laugh. Hearing the laugh, Amy and Caleb both turned their heads. When Caleb saw me, his face filled with surprise, and he quickly took a step back, putting some distance between himself and Amy. His voice, however, sounded weak and flustered. "Amy, I didn't know Henry was here. Am I interrupting?" Amy pulled back her hand, which had been frozen in mid-air. She looked at me, her tone casual. "Henry, you're done with your shower? Caleb is sick with a high fever. That's why he came over." I walked out and gave a nonchalant my voice light. "I can see that. He has a fever." And yet he still took the time to style his hair and douse himself in cologne. Caleb's face went deathly pale. He bit his lip hard, and tears started to well up in his eyes. "Henry, the cologne is from a party this afternoon. It just hasn't faded yet." Seeing Caleb's choked explanation, Amy frowned and lowered her voice. "Henry, Caleb is sick. He wasn't thinking about all that. If you're not happy about it, I can just ask him to leave." Caleb grew anxious. "Amy, I'm sorry, I was being stupid. I'll go," I said calmly. My tone was leisurely, while his was faint and weak. The contrast was stark and dripping with sarcasm. Caleb's face flushed bright red. "Amy, since Henry doesn't want to see me, I'll just leave." We had spoken at the same time again. Caleb, panicked and flustered, burst into convulsive sobs. Ever since we started dating, Amy knew I didn't like her getting too close to Caleb. She stopped eating meals with him or walking home together. She kept her distance at parties. On the rare occasion Caleb crossed a line and I got upset, she always took my side. There had been times before when Caleb got sick and called her. She would ask for my opinion, saying her mom had told her to look out for him since he was a guy on his own and it wasn't easy. So I would go with her to take Caleb to the hospital. The way Amy handled things in the past made me feel like she had a sense of proportion, so I never made a big deal out of it. Tonight was different. First, I overheard her phone call. Then I walk into Caleb putting on his whole damsel in distress act. It was obvious the two of them had cultivated some kind of ambiguous relationship behind my back. Maybe it was more than just ambiguous. Amy's expression soured. She tried to soothe me in a low voice. "Come on, Henry. He's sick. How about we just take him to the hospital first, okay?" I sat down at the dining table and took a sip of water. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Amy stood by the door, and I just smiled. "Go if you want to go." Caleb's eyes followed me. Pretending to have just noticed the cake on the table, he spoke in a panicked, tentative voice. "Amy, is today Henry's birthday?" I really didn't know. I never would have bothered you." Amy didn't bother comforting him this time. She glanced at the cake. "His birthday isn't until after midnight." After she said that, she checked her phone and walked over to take my hand. "Okay, look, your birthday is in 50 minutes. Let me just drive Caleb to the nearest hospital, and I promise I'll rush right back to celebrate with you. Okay?" Her tone was sincere. When I didn't respond, she sighed and pulled out her phone, offering to video call me. "If you're worried, we can stay on a video call the whole time." Hearing this, Caleb, who was standing by the shoe cabinet, could barely contain himself. He clenched his fists, his pale face contorted with the effort of holding back. Seeing this, I shot Amy a smile. "No need. Go ahead. Caleb's been feverish for a while now. It would be bad if it got serious." Caleb let out a breath of relief and quickly chimed in. "Thanks, Henry. Happy birthday. I'll get you a gift in a couple of days." Amy grabbed her car keys and led Caleb out the door. The moment Amy was out the door, Caleb, who had been trailing her, wiped away his fake tears and shot a triumphant look back at me. His eyes were filled with smugness and arrogance. He wasn't holding back like he usually did. Normally, I wouldn't have stood for it. But now, I just silently held up a single finger at him. His face stiffened for a second before he quickly followed Amy and left. The mixed scent of their colognes was making me sick. I picked up the cake, went downstairs, and walked to the farthest garbage can. Amy had it all wrong. I liked her not because she was my first girlfriend. It was because she was gorgeous, had a great figure, and our personalities meshed well enough. So when she was good to me, I was good to her in return. To think she could tie me down with some first love nonsense, carry on a flirtation right under my nose, and expect me to just tolerate it. She really misjudged me. With a cold look, I tossed the cake into the trash. By the time I got back to my own place, it was already 1 a.m. Amy started calling, right on schedule. Caleb had worked so hard to lure Amy away, right in front of me. He wasn't about to let her come back easily. I opened my laptop and started looking up the company's proposal for transferring personnel to headquarters. I ignored Amy's 37 missed calls and the endless stream of messages she was blowing up my phone with. At 10 a.m. the next morning, I finally texted her back with a lie. Got a last-minute notice for a business trip last night. Went home to pack. Amy called immediately. Hearing that my tone was normal, she asked tentatively, "Henry, I thought you were mad at me." "Mel?" "Yeah." She launched into a long story about how Caleb had suddenly fainted in the car. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't hear a word of it and cut her off. "Get to the point. I have a meeting." Amy sounded surprised. "You just started. How are they already sending you on a business trip?" I snorted. "Who knows? What about you? When do you start your job?" Back in our junior year, Amy and I had decided to stay in Boston, to work and build a life here. We had even found internships we liked at different companies in the city. Amy's family business was run by her uncle, who didn't get along with her dad, so there were no plans for her to go back and work there yet. She'd found a pretty good tech company to intern at. Who knew she would secretly turn down a local job to spend 3 months in LA with Caleb, only to come back and propose to me? She must have watched too many movies. Did she really think we could do the whole long-distance thing? Amy's tone was light. "Henry, I was actually going to tell you after your birthday. One of the conditions for my job is that I have to spend 3 months in LA first. But don't worry, I promise I'll fly back every weekend to see you. If you take out the weekends, it's really only a few days we won't see each other. Or if you miss me, I can take time off and come back whenever. Amy had initially insisted on waiting for me to get back from my trip to see me before she left. But the moment I posted a lovey-dovey chat screenshot on my social feed, Caleb couldn't wait to find a way to whisk Amy away. He didn't know that post was set so only he could see it. Once they landed in LA, Caleb posted a photo of himself sleeping with his head nestled on Amy's chest on the plane. In the picture, Amy was wearing a hat and a mask, only her elegant jawline visible. But the watch on her wrist was perfectly in focus. It was the birthday gift I had given her last year. I screenshotted it and saved it. In less than 3 days, word was already spreading through Amy's circle that Caleb had a girlfriend. Throughout college, he had turned down everyone who pursued him. He once joked at a party, "Me? I like girls like Amy. Of course, Amy has a boyfriend. I'm just kidding." I went back to my texts. Seeing a message from Amy saying it was the 3rd day and she missed me, I shut off my screen in disgust. Time to head to the airport. My childhood best friend, Olivia, was flying in from abroad. Olivia's parents and my parents are very good friends. We'd known each other since we were kids. After high school graduation, she moved abroad with her parents and hadn't been back since. Even though it had been 4 years and we didn't talk much, it seemed like she had become more of a social butterfly since moving. You could find out about pretty much anything going on with her from her social feed. I got stuck in traffic on the way to the airport, so by the time I arrived, Olivia was already standing by the curb. She was tall and slender, wearing a beige trench coat with a bag slung over her shoulder, looking down at her phone. She must have heard my footsteps because she suddenly looked up, revealing a pair of bright, almond-shaped eyes. When she saw it was me, she raised an eyebrow, walked over, and gave me a huge hug, her voice crisp and clear. "Henry, long time no see." I gently hugged her back, patting her on the back. "Long time no see, Olivia." I took her to a get-together. All our old high school friends came when they heard she was back. In the middle of dinner, Amy, seeing I hadn't replied to her messages, tried to video call me. I declined. She immediately called again. Olivia noticed and nudged me. "What's up? Something wrong?" I looked at Amy's name flashing on my screen and gave a wry smile. "It's nothing, just a small thing. I'll step outside to take this." Out in the hallway, I kept my voice low. "What's up?" Amy on the other end was clearly taken aback. Back when we were in our honeymoon phase, we would reply to each other's messages instantly. Even if we were busy, we'd never just hang up. Amy's voice was a bit stiff. "Henry, I've only been gone for 3 days and you're already ignoring me?" I didn't answer her question, instead asking one of my own. "Don't you have work?" Ido. "It's just not that busy since I just started." "You're not busy, but I am. I have something going on today. What could be so important on a Wednesday? It's almost the end of the workday, isn't it?" I cut straight to the chase. "An old friend of mine is back in town. I'm taking her out to dinner." Amy clicked her tongue. "Who? So important that you'd ignore me for them?" "I know, is it Evan? I think you mentioned he was traveling abroad." "No, it's Olivia." Amy's voice faltered for a second, a hint of unease in her tone. "Olivia? A girl? The one you said you grew up with, who moved abroad in high school?" "Yeah." When we first started dating, Amy and I had told each other about our friends, and she had even seen a picture of Olivia back then. She only dropped it after I mentioned Olivia probably wouldn't be moving back. "Didn't you say she wasn't coming back?" What a coincidence. The minute I leave Boston, she shows up. I listened silently to Amy's complaints. "And? What are you trying to say?" Amy's tone grew heavy. "Nothing. I'm coming back this Friday night. You're picking me up." I glanced back into the private room. Olivia pointed at her watch, and I nodded at her, then turned back and replied blandly to Amy, "Don't bother coming back. Olivia wants to take a road trip nearby, and we're about to leave." Amy was stunned for a moment. When she processed what I'd said, she gritted her teeth in anger. "What do you mean? A guy and a girl going off like that? Is that appropriate?" I feigned confusion. "What's inappropriate about it?" Have you forgotten you went with Caleb to his hometown? That was a guy and a girl, too. This time it's 2 guys and 2 girls. Amy was speechless. How was that accompanying him? The buses weren't running over the holiday, so I just gave him a ride. I was losing my patience. Whatever. I'm not talking about this anymore. Hanging up now. I hung up before Amy could reply. Back when Amy gave Caleb that ride, she told me she was just giving me a heads up. The excuse was that Caleb had a lot of stuff, and her mom insisted she drive him. Then a blizzard hit his village, sealing the roads, and she ended up stuck at his family's place for 3 days. At the time, she video called me every day, acting all annoyed and talking nonstop about how much she wanted to come back. Looking back now, she was probably secretly thrilled. Amy didn't message me again. Her pride wouldn't allow it. Besides, everything I told Amy was true. With Olivia back, I took 2 days off, which, combined with the weekend, gave us 4 days. We were going with 2 other friends. I rode in Olivia's car with her to drop off her things, while our other 2 friends drove ahead. In the car, I took a picture of the scenery and posted it to my story. Olivia's clear voice broke the silence. Something on your mind? I put my phone down and leaned back. Not really. Just dealing with a problem. A problem? I smiled. Yeah, it's almost solved. It's fine. Olivia smirked thoughtfully and nodded. We met up with the others at our destination, explored the area, and had hot pot for dinner. We talked about a lot of things. That night, Evan and I shared a room. Olivia and Rachel shared another. Amy hadn't contacted me at all, but then she suddenly tried to video call at 11 p.m. I declined, and she tried again. When I didn't answer, she sent a frantic voice message. Henry, you go out with her, but I can't even video call you? I replied with a question mark. Amy sent 5 more extra long voice messages. I couldn't even be bothered to listen. I just texted back, get to the point. She immediately started typing. Let me see. I'm feeling uneasy. I accepted the video call and stared silently at Amy. She frowned, scanning my surroundings until Rachel walked past in the background. Then she forced a casual smile. Have you missed me? I took a sip of water. No. Amy half joked. Fine. If you don't miss me, then I won't come back next week either. Fine by me. I've got stuff to do, so I'm hanging up. Henry, wait. I hung up decisively. After my shower, I posted a picture. In the photo, Evan and I were in the middle with Olivia and Rachel on either side of us, all of us with huge smiles on our faces. The picture was a recreation of a pose from high school. Amy left a question mark in the comments. I ignored it and went to sleep. For 3 whole days, Amy was radio silent, but she started posting to her story constantly. She didn't know that besides her, Caleb was posting too. Except Caleb's posts were set so only I could see them. For instance, Amy would post a picture from a group dinner. Then Caleb would post a picture of Amy's back from the same dinner. The 2 of them went back and forth, completely flooding my feed. They were making sure I knew exactly what they were up to. About 2 weeks later, Amy suddenly showed up back in town during the week. I had just walked out of my office building and saw her car parked on the side of the road. She got out as soon as she saw me. Amy was wearing a white blouse that accentuated her slim figure, causing more than a few heads to turn. As I approached, her stern expression softened, and she reached out to hug me. I sidestepped her. Amy's eyes went cold for a moment, but she quickly suppressed it, retracting her hand with a smile. Henry, surprise. I took time off just to come back for you. How about we go to that restaurant you booked for your birthday? For my birthday, she had booked my favorite restaurant, but we never ended up going. I checked the time. I have an important meeting at the office tonight. You should go by yourself. Amy's tone stiffened. I came back especially for you. Can't you take the day off? Can't. Amy's face fell as she demanded. You could take time off when Olivia came back, but you can't for me? I answered coolly, looking straight into her eyes. Nope, can't. Amy gritted her teeth, her voice tight with suppressed anger. Henry, you've really got some nerve. I really do have a meeting. I don't have time to argue with you right now. As I tried to walk past her, she grabbed my wrist. She took a deep breath, and her tone softened. Henry, if you're still mad about me taking Caleb to the hospital, I'm sorry. I tried to shake my hand free, but she held on tight. I met her gaze and said, Amy, I really don't have time for this right now. Let go. No. I yanked my arm away, took a step back, and said sternly, can you please stop making a scene? I really have to get to my meeting. I rarely used that tone with Amy. It usually meant my patience had truly run out. Amy's eyes darkened, and she fell silent. Not waiting for her to speak, I went and bought a sandwich and quickly returned to the office. The meeting didn't end until 10 p.m. As soon as I walked out of the conference room and turned on my phone, I saw a string of video messages from Amy's best friend. I randomly clicked on one. In the video, Amy was completely wasted, slumped on a sofa. Her friend provided a running commentary. Henry, Amy really canceled something important to come back for you. Please don't be mad anymore. She's been so upset about what happened this afternoon that she's drinking herself sick. You have no idea. As soon as Amy got drunk, all these hot guys started hitting on her. It was so dangerous. Why don't you come pick her up? The address is… I didn't finish listening. I just closed the video and blocked her. Stretching as I walked out, I thought to myself, after a long day, who has the energy to listen to their drama? When I got home, I found a cute stuffed animal that Olivia had sent over by courier. She sent me a gift every year and I always sent one back. Only this year, the birthday gift was a little late. Beneath the stuffed animal was a gift box. Inside was an exquisite watch that was clearly expensive. I texted her to say thanks, and she replied with an emoji. Then you can treat me to dinner. I was trying to get back before your birthday, but something came up. No big deal. You picked the time and place, my treat. I saw a seaside restaurant with good reviews. This weekend? Sounds good. Send me the location. I found out the next day that it was Caleb who had taken Amy home last night. He had come back too. And the very important thing Amy supposedly canceled was Caleb's birthday. After sobering up, Amy threw a fit when she learned I hadn't come for her. Caleb stood beside her with red-rimmed eyes, which only made her more irritated. Her friend went over to comfort her. She said that since we'd been together for so long, my sudden change in behavior was probably because I had started working. After all, it wasn't like being in school, where there's so much freedom. How did I know all this? Because Amy came to find me again. She told me all of it word for word. She said she wasn't mad because Caleb took her home, but because I was so indifferent to her being drunk. I took a sip of my coffee. So, you expect someone who worked until midnight, dead tired, to drive 50 miles round trip just to pick you up? Amy was completely speechless, struggling to keep her voice down. So you're saying that even if I were in danger, you wouldn't care because of the distance? I was baffled. What danger could there be? If you're there, Caleb is definitely there, not to mention your best friend. Amy took a deep breath. But they're not you. So you're throwing a fit because I went to work instead of picking you up? Amy let out a bitter laugh, her face growing darker. She asked in disbelief, you think this is me throwing a fit? I shook my head. Then what are you trying to say? Amy, a person's life isn't just about dating and marriage. There's work and other things too. Don't you think it's childish to come all this way just to pick a fight about this? Amy's emotions clouded her eyes. Her slender frame seemed to stoop, and her voice grew hoarse. Do you have to be like this, Henry? I don't know what's wrong with you. I've been in LA for less than a month, and you've completely changed. If you didn't want me to go, you should have just told me. Why did you have to keep sulking about it? And now you're deliberately using Olivia to make me angry? I looked at Amy and asked softly, does it make you angry, me being with Olivia? Yes. Why? Amy tried to control her voice. Why do you think? Is she the only friend Olivia has since she came back from abroad? Did you have to be the one to pick her up from the airport? You even took time off to go on a trip with her and took that kind of picture. She was practically plastered all over you. When I came back to see you, you were completely distracted. Isn't it because of her? She's clearly a manipulative bitch, just pretending to be your friend. Amy's eyes were filled with resentment, and her words grew uglier. After her outburst, I folded my arms, leaned back, and looked down at her. She realized she had lost her composure and fell silent. I asked slowly, "What's wrong with any of that? Haven't you and Caleb always been like that? Taking pictures, eating together, helping each other out? He acts like he has no other friends besides you. Why don't you find that strange? Instead, you're here questioning me? A manipulative bitch? Are you saying you've always known that kind of thing exists?" Amy's face froze. My questions left her speechless. Finally, she looked down and ran a hand through her hair. "Henry, in the end, this is still about Caleb. You're still mad. If you hate him that much, then fine. I'll come back. I won't go to LA. I had to laugh at her words. The audacity. I shrugged nonchalantly. "You're wrong. I never cared about Caleb. With the way you're acting, we shouldn't see each other for a while. Let's both cool down." With that, I grabbed my bag and left the coffee shop. That weekend, I went to the seaside restaurant with Olivia. She told me a lot of fun stories about her time abroad. During our conversation, I asked her when she was heading back. She stopped eating halfway through her meal and looked at me, seemingly in thought, before finally saying casually, "There's a pretty good project happening in Boston. If it goes well, I might stay." I nodded. "That's good. Boston is developing really well right now." Olivia's fair, slender fingers picked up a bowl and ladled some soup for me. "What about you? What are your plans?" "Me?" I thought for a moment. "My current company is a good fit in every way. For now, I'm just going to focus on work. Everything else isn't important." Olivia paused, then smiled softly. "You know, you're just like your dad, a workaholic." As she said that, a waiter rolled out a cake decorated with a cute little boy. "Olivia, my birthday was a while ago." "I know, but you love cake." She still remembered after all these years. "When I was a kid, I loved cake more than anything. Whenever I was in a bad mood, I'd buy a slice. So when I was little, my parents would buy a cake the day before my birthday and another one on the day itself. They said it was to double the happiness." I noticed Olivia was much more composed than before. In high school, she was bubbly and talked a lot. Now, while she still had a bright personality, she was thoughtful and considerate in how she handled things. From picking me up to choosing where we sat, everything was always perfectly arranged. Going out with a friend like that is always relaxing. All you have to do is show up. I thought of Amy. We had traveled together before, but she was the type to just follow my lead. Whatever I planned, she'd go along with it. If I didn't have time to plan, she'd opt for a tour group. Halfway through dinner, everyone in the restaurant suddenly stopped. There was going to be a fireworks show. Soon, brilliant fireworks bloomed in the sky, one after another. The restaurant staff was taking pictures for promotion. Somehow, a photo of Olivia and me found its way into Amy's social circle. That night, she sent me the picture with a question mark. When I didn't reply, she and Caleb left LA overnight. Almost immediately, Caleb posted a picture of 2 plane tickets, the names on them blurred just enough to be illegible. As if he was afraid I wouldn't know Amy had left with him. Fine by me. I was enjoying the peace and quiet. I happened to be working overtime at the office anyway. The new address for Olivia's company was right upstairs from mine. She cooked every day and would always bring a portion for me. Half a month later, I was eating at a shop behind campus when I ran into 2 of Caleb's roommates. Their internships were nearby, so they ate here often. When they saw me, they started whispering and exchanging mocking glances. Seeing that I was just eating and not saying anything, their voices got louder and louder. As if to make sure I could hear, they started a back and forth routine. "Yeah, what's he so smug about?" No matter how smug he is, Amy still chose Caleb. Caleb and Amy were childhood sweethearts. If he hadn't stuck his nose in, it never would have been his turn. I bet Amy's about to realize what she really wants and dump him. People around us started to look over at me. The 2 of them couldn't help but snicker. I finished my meal, put down my chopsticks, and turned to face them directly. Seeing me silent, they suddenly choked on their words. I clicked my tongue. I guess it's true what they say, birds of a feather flock together. Does Caleb know you 2 are running around announcing that he's teetering on the edge of being a homewrecker? The faces of the people around us lit up with gossip. Caleb's roommates panicked. Henry, what are you talking about? Caleb is not a homewrecker. How long has he known Amy, and how long have you known Amy? I shot back. If they've known each other so long, how come they're not together? Why did Amy have to chase me? They sneered. How would you know? If you hadn't seduced Amy in the student club, would you have even had a chance? Besides, when it came down to you and Caleb, Amy already made her choice. Why do you think she went to LA? They smirked triumphantly as they spoke. Clapped and nodded. Well then, Caleb still has a chance in LA. You should tell him to go seduce Amy. One of them, a girl with curly blonde hair, got agitated. Caleb's not that kind of person. Amy found out he was going to LA for an internship, so she turned down her job here behind your back to go to LA and take care of him. The reason is she doesn't like you anymore. It's only a matter of time before she breaks up with you. The only one she's ever had in her heart is Caleb. After she said that, the place erupted. The crowd couldn't sit still. If she doesn't like him, why not just break up? Are these two sick in the head? Isn't their roommate basically admitting he's the other man? Yeah, what childhood sweethearts. If your friend has a boyfriend, shouldn't you keep your distance? Going behind her boyfriend's back to live in another city with some childhood friend? What is she if not a cheater? In this day and age, cheaters and homewreckers are so shameless they brag about it. I suggest you to drag your friend to see a neurologist. The crowd piled on from all sides. The two girls were dumbfounded. They tried to argue back but only got yelled at more fiercely. Someone suddenly chimed in. I know them. The homewrecker is Caleb, and the cheater is Amy. Amidst the public outrage, Caleb's roommates fled in humiliation. Before I left, the owner of the restaurant even packed me a dish to go and told me to stay away from toxic women. I thanked him and walked out. 10 minutes after I left the restaurant, Amy called. She was trying to suppress her anger. Henry, why would you go around telling everyone in public that Caleb is a homewrecker? I told you I could come back. You didn't have to do this. I was walking home under an umbrella with my headphones in, my tone cold. Amy, get it straight. It was Caleb's roommates who called him a homewrecker, not me. If you don't understand the situation, you can ask the restaurant owner for the security footage. Amy stopped short, then sighed deeply. I know those two got carried away and said some things they shouldn't have, but you shouldn't have added fuel to the fire. Now the whole school forum is talking about it. I countered, about what? Saying that you're convinced Caleb is a homewrecker. I waited at a crosswalk watching the traffic flow by and said, word by word, Amy, the one who decides whether Caleb is a homewrecker has never been me. It's you. Amy was silent for a moment before speaking. I really didn't. I can swear. There's nothing going on between me and Caleb. If there's nothing going on, then you should do things that reflect that, not things that make even his roommates misunderstand. Amy let out a cold, humorless laugh. Henry, you're talking about me, but what about you? You and Olivia have nothing to explain? You told me we needed to cool off. Then you turned around and went to a seaside restaurant with her. I asked you about it, and you didn't offer a single explanation. You think if people saw those pictures of you two, they'd believe nothing was going on? What do you think could be going on between me and Olivia? A single man and a single woman at a seaside restaurant with a hotel right next door. Who knows what you two? Amy's suppressed emotions finally burst forth. My voice was calm. Amy, people are mirrors. What you see in others often just reflects who you are. Amy scoffed, her breathing heavy. Fine. I'm the one with the problem. You and Olivia are so pure. If that's the case, let's just break up. The moment the words left her mouth, she stopped abruptly. I didn't say anything. Seeing my silence, she quickly tried to backtrack. Henry, I'm sorry. I was just so angry. I spoke slowly. Okay. Amy was shocked. What did you say? I said, okay, let's break up. When Amy and I got together, we made a promise never to bring up breaking up lightly. Only if we truly felt we weren't right for each other, or if one of us met someone else they liked. We had our share of arguments, but we always communicated and worked through them. This was the first time Amy had said the words break up, and I agreed without hesitation. On the other end of the line, Amy was clearly panicked. Her breathing became ragged. Henry, are you sure? I'm sure. You suggested it and I agree. Amy. She responded anxiously, I'm here. Since we're broken up, let's not contact each other again. I hung up and blocked Amy's number and all her social media. On the way home, I bought a small cake to celebrate. A student from a lower year who must have seen the forum posts commented on my social media. He asked if I'd broken up with her. I replied, back on the market. Somehow, Olivia was also friends with this student, saw my reply, and even liked it. In just one day, the discussion on the school forums exploded. Amy was already a well-known figure on campus. People started posting old photos of Amy and Caleb spending time alone together. Someone even claimed that they had moved in together just a few days after arriving in LA. The comments were a flood of condemnation. Someone took the opportunity to post the picture of me and Olivia at the seaside restaurant, accusing me of cheating. The whole thing blew up. The restaurant started getting harassed with phone calls. The restaurant owner replied to the netizens. Those two were just having a simple dinner that day. They didn't even hold hands. Okay? And it wasn't just two of them. It was four. He then posted a photo showing four people. Me, Olivia, Evan, and Rachel. There had been four of us all along. The other two had just gotten stuck in traffic and arrived late. They had missed the first round of fireworks. After the truth came out, I heard Amy took an overnight train back to Boston. The next day, Amy, looking exhausted, was waiting with an umbrella downstairs from my apartment. She rushed to block my path as I was heading home. She moved the umbrella over my head, letting herself get soaked, her voice low and sincere. Henry, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was Caleb's roommates who started spewing nonsense that day. I went and watched the security footage as soon as I got back and realized they were the ones who started yelling at you. I took a step back, putting distance between us, and opened my own umbrella. You don't need to talk about what happened before. Amy looked at me, hurt, her hands still frozen in mid-air as she let the rain drench her.
Henry, I'm sorry.
I really am. It was my fault. I shouldn't have gone to LA. But I can promise you, everything you saw on the forums is fake. I didn't live with Caleb. I cut her off with a laugh. It's just that he was sick for a few days, so you went to take care of him, and in the process you just happened to stay over? Amy froze, her face turning deathly pale. Who told you that? I don't need to be told. Everything you two did in LA, he posted on his social feed. You tucking him in, making him porridge, telling him stories. Him slipping in the shower and you catching him, and so on. Oh, and most likely, he said it also only I could see it. Amy's expression slowly crumbled, her eyes wide with shock. She bit her lip hard, the corners of her eyes turning red. Her voice so hoarse it was almost a whisper. I didn't touch him. When I didn't respond, she repeated stubbornly, Henry, I really didn't touch him. I shook my head. Does it matter, Amy? You know why you went to LA, don't you? When you were planning your little long-distance affair. Did you ever think about this day? My words hit her like a physical blow. The umbrella in her hand trembled, and she gasped, staring at me in disbelief. Then, she suddenly started to laugh. So this is all because you overheard me on your birthday? And then you deliberately used Olivia to make me mad. You don't even like her. After she said it, a look of relief crossed her face. She dropped her umbrella and rushed forward to hug me, resting her head on my shoulder.
Henry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for everything. I was an idiot. I shouldn't have said those things, shouldn't have gone to LA. But I swear I didn't touch Caleb. If you don't like him, I'll never talk to him again. I've already contacted your company to start the hiring process. We can have a good life together from now on. My voice was ice. Amy, let go of me. Amy hesitated, still holding on, before slowly letting go. I raised my hand and slapped her hard across the face. The sound was crisp and loud. Her head whipped to the side from the force. To be a cheater who wants to have your cake and eat it too. You're truly disgusting, Amy. You say I used Olivia to make you mad? You're giving yourself too much credit. I never once compared the two of you, because you're not worthy. As Amy stared at me with an expression of pure devastation, I looked into her panicked eyes. I don't care what happens between you and Caleb from now on. We are broken up. I hope you can be a decent ex and stay out of my life." Right there in front of her, I took off the jacket she had just touched and threw it straight into the trash can. When I got home, Amy was still standing woodenly downstairs. She just stood there, letting the heavy rain soak her, staring motionlessly at my apartment window. Amy still insisted on trying to get a job at my company. She pulled some strings, and when HR was doing her background check, they came to me. I told them the truth. After some hesitation, HR rejected her application. For some reason, Caleb went crazy. He started showing up at my office building to block my way. When security stopped him, he could only stand there and scream insults. "Henry, what right do you have to call me a homewrecker? You knew Amy and I were childhood sweethearts, so why did you agree to date her? She never loved you. You were just something new and exciting. Her going to LA for me was what she truly wanted. You don't deserve to be with her." Caleb's usual frail demeanor was gone. His eyes were red and swollen, and he looked like he wanted to eat me alive. I stopped, walked over to him, and just nodded. "You deserve her. I wish you two a long and happy life together. I hope you're locked together forever so you don't go out and ruin anyone else's life." After Caleb went back that day, he hired a bunch of online trolls to launch a massive campaign to clean up his and Amy's reputations. They claimed I was the third party who had interfered in their relationship, deliberately sabotaging their destiny right when they were about to break through their platonic facade. I pulled out my phone and uploaded Amy's voice messages about her long-distance plans, along with all of Caleb's friends' only posts, to the internet. A cheater who wanted it all, and a homewrecker who knew exactly what he was doing. Soon, the facts spoke for themselves. The story spread, and even people at Amy's family company heard about it. The gossip was rampant, and it had a significant impact. Her uncle, who was already wary of her, used the opportunity to crack down. He put her on house arrest. He publicly announced that Amy was just a distant relative and would never hold a position in the family company, which finally calmed things down. Caleb quit his job in LA and disappeared completely. Amy was also sent away for the time being. A week after it all ended, I was about to transfer to the headquarters in Chicago. Olivia took me out to dinner. She said it was to celebrate my promotion and my breakup. On the day she came to see me off at the airport, the weather had turned cold. Olivia had brought me a hat and scarf. "It's cold in Chicago. Make sure you stay warm when you get there." She paused. "As soon as I get things sorted out here, I'll head over too." I smiled. "Olivia, does your company have business everywhere? It's quite a coincidence that you have work in Chicago too." Olivia's eyes twinkled with a smile. "Yes, it is. A real coincidence." She tied the scarf for me and gently smoothed my hair. "Henry, when you get there, you're treating me to dinner." I laughed. "Okay. See you in Chicago then. Wait for me."